Hi everybody, I'm Tara from Crooked Row.
I'm Chris.
And today is part 3 of, I think part 4, a total of 4 videos, maybe more, we're not sure yet, of keeping chickens. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the types of chickens to choose. And I know that a lot of people want to just pick which ones they think are the prettiest, but there actually are a lot of variables that you have to go over when you think about choosing chickens. I know that we had started out our first year when we got chickens, we just went to Tractor Supply and bought a bunch of chickens. We didn't know what we were doing, did we?
No, we didn't.
No. So what we have done now is there are different traits you have to realize. Are you in a cold climate? If you're in a cold climate, you'll want to get cold tolerant chickens. If you are looking for chickens that sit on their nests, now remember, they have bred out that trait in most chickens to not sit on their nests, and so, or sit on their eggs. And so, but there are still chickens that do it. And so, we have a couple different breeds that actually sit on them. Buff Orpington is one. Our black chickens. I keep showing them in our shots. Our black chicken right now, she's on them, Foxy Brown. But that's not that's her name. That's not the, named it. Yeah, that's not the type. But there are I'm trying to think. I think a speckled Sussex will sit on her is likely. They don't always do it, but they go what's called broody, and broody means that they have those, hormones flowing where they want babies, and so they're going to sit on their nest. So do you want that trait? Some people don't. Some people want to just keep buying their chickens. We are a homestead, and so we like to have the little babies. We even incubate some of our eggs. So there's also chickens that do forage versus chickens that do not forage. And if you're in a small space, clearly you're not going to want your chickens to have that desire to want to forage because they're going to be in a tiny space, and that's almost not fair. So also if you're in a warmer climate, you're going to want to make sure you get birds that are heat tolerant because that will affect the egg laying production abilities of your chickens. Well, and chickens don't do, they do well in the heat, but if you have a breed that does better in the heat than another one, then that might be something that you want to look at. Also, there's 3 different types of chickens. You've got your meat birds. You've got your egg layers, and then you've got your dual purpose birds. And again, we're on a homestead, farmstead, whatever you want to call it. And so dual purpose is really where we're at. Sometimes we'll get egg layers. We had gone through a season where we had nothing but meat birds. I kind of don't care for meat birds. I don't, their temperament was not the best. They were kind of weird, weren't they? They were extremely aggressive. Yeah. What did we get? Freedom Rangers, I think. Oh, Freedom Rangers, yeah. They were so aggressive. I've never seen chickens so starved. Like, we fed them tons and tons because they grow really fast. Yeah, and then they eat tons and tons. And are never satisfied. They're real aggressive. We found a lot of dead birds in the coop, and not from disease or anything, but they start like pecking at each other. I did not like those at all. Yeah. So we try to kind of stick with a dual purpose. Yeah. For your homestead, if you have limited means financially, which that's most of us here, that's going to be your most practical bird because you get your eggs and you get the meat as well. Typically, you want to get your meat when the chickens are younger, though, rather than older, because the older the chicken is, the tougher the meat's going to be. And those would be stewing hens. And so you also have to kind of learn how to cook homemade chicken. The stuff that you're buying in the stores is not free range. I don't care what that package says. It's not free range. They're not utilizing their muscles. It's a different bird, essentially. So when you have exercise chickens, the meat is going to be slightly different. Now, there is a bunch of blogs and farmers who weigh in on this. I really encourage you to read up on cooking your chickens if that's something that you're going to do, if you're going to use them for the meat. The only thing that I haven't had success with yet is oven roasting them. I mean, I've braised them, we have ground the meat, we have done fried chicken. All of that's good. But we prefer roasted. We prefer roasted chicken. So
yes.
But so there's a lot to consider when you're actually going to go buy, and so you have to figure out. Again, a list is really good for this because you want to sort of break down what are my needs, what are we wanting to get out of this, and so we buy our birds from McMurray Hatchery, and we do that online. They are an excellent resource for all things birds. They have great quality birds. They are always very healthy. And I think we've bought from them for what, 10 years?
Yeah.
And there's only been 1 year where the shipment arrived and everything was dead. And they instantly replaced it, had chickens here in 2 days that were live. And I have to be honest, I think that it was from a mishandling from the carrier. I won't say who it is. But they are very, very good. McMurray Hatchery. They also can help you because at the bottom of each bird on the website, they have like statistics and availability and questions from customers. But when you look at like the chicken stats, it'll tell you, is this bird likely to sit on her eggs? What is the egg production like? What is the meat like? Are they cold hardy? Are they warm weather hardy? They just have so much information, and you can kind of just whittle it down to the type you need.
Something else you want to think about when you've got your chickens, you don't want to have too many roosters. We've got a video that we did showing what happens when you have too many roosters. So the video is right here. But essentially what happens is the roosters are kind of abusing the hens almost, because really they're just doing their job, their purpose, but they're overmating the hens, and you've got these big claws on their feet that are digging into the hens. And
sometimes they like pull out their feathers.
And it pulls out the feathers, and a lot of times they grab the feathers on the back of the hen's head.
It's nasty. It's awful.
Yeah, it ends up pulling feathers out of their backs.
So on McMurray Hatchery, you can buy hens, you can buy roosters, or you can buy what's called straight run. And they don't overload you with roosters, but if you do happen to buy straight run, because it is cheaper to buy straight run, instead of figuring up how many hens and roosters that you want. So if you go with straight run and you have a mix and you find that you have too many roosters, you're going to either have to give your roosters away to someone else, or you're going to have to cull them.
Yeah.
And so,
which again, you also want to consider the age of the roosters.
And it's about 1 rooster per 10 hens. So if you only are getting like 5 or 6 hens, and you want, and if you're just after eggs, and you're not going to do anything else but just eat eggs, you don't even need a rooster at all. So, but if you want fertilized eggs and you want to incubate, or you want them to sit on them, you have to have a rooster.
Yeah,
so,
certainly.
So, are we done?
I think we're done.
Okay. So, we encourage you to watch the previous 2 videos. This is the 3rd in our series of, what you need to do before. All of this is before you get the chickens. You need to have kind of all of this figured out, which is why we made these videos.
So remember, if we can pick out chickens, anybody can.
Bye.
See ya.